Hello friends! This lesson continues our series over the basics of polygonal modeling. Today we'll explore the Edit Sub-object rollout. So, if you activate a sub-object in Edit mode, an additional tab will appear, allowing you to configure and edit the sub-object. The first command is Remove. It deletes a point by merging polygons. The shortcut key is Backspace. If you use the Delete key, all polygons using this vertex will be removed, creating a hole. Next is Break. This command creates a new vertex for each polygon attached to the selected vertex, allowing you to move the corners of the polygons apart. The Extrude tool. This tool extrudes a vertex according to the normal vector with height and base width settings. The number of sides at the base is equal to the number of polygons attached to the vertex. The Weld tool. It welds vertices with a distance setting, making all vertices a single vertex at the center of the segment between them. It may display incorrectly during the process, but it'll show correctly once confirmed. The target weld function allows you to weld selected vertices more precisely. You can weld either adjacent vertices, vertices connected by edges, or the boundary vertices of the mesh. Non-adjacent vertices cannot be welded. The tool can be cancelled by right-clicking. Next is the chamfer tool, a commonly used modeling tool used to bevel corners or create new meshes on flat parts. It has settings for size, number of segments, tension, and smoothing options. It's also one of the convenient ways to create a round hole by adding segments. Next, the Connect tool. It connects selected vertices by edges. You can't connect vertices that are not adjacent, but if you follow the tool's logic and select the vertex to connect all divided vertices, there won't be any problems. You can also select multiple vertices that can have edges created between them. In this case, the edges will be created according to the triangulation of polygons. You can see this visually by activating edges or polygons and enabling the triangulation editing mode. Note that all polygons in 3ds Max are divided into triangles for geometry calculation, but the mesh is typically displayed as quadrilateral for convenience. The next two functions are designed to remove individual vertices not connected to any polygons, which can sometimes appear during work and can interfere with modeling and shading. Next is the Vertex Mesh Adjustment tool. This parameter is needed to work with smoothing modifiers. Let's use Extrude for clarity. Add a Turbo Smooth modifier. Add iterations. Turn on the display of the modifier stack. Select a vertex and increase its mass. This creates a gravity effect. The higher the vertex mass, the more it pulls the mesh towards itself. To normalize it, select the vertex and set its weight to 1. The second parameter works with modifiers like Open Subdiv and allows adjusting vertex sharpness with values from 0 to 1. It can be reset with a right click. Now, let's move on to edges. Most of the tools are the same. The only difference is in the logic of working with the specific sub-object. For example, the Remove tool works similarly, but with the note that an edge can only be between two vertices. So when deleting it, we can choose to keep them by pressing Backspace, or delete along with the edge by pressing Ctrl plus Backspace. The new Insert Vertex tool adds a vertex to the edge. Another new tool, Split, splits selected edges into two, existing in the same place, creating a break in the mesh. It allows for quick splitting of an element, but will not work if only one edge is selected. The extrude tool works by the same rules as vertices and allows us to extrude or indent edges along the normal. Weld allows welding edges if there is a break in the mesh. The target weld tool works similarly. You cannot weld edges without breaks. The chamfer tool in the edge sub-object has many applications, each with its own features. We will cover only a few basic scenarios to get acquainted with the tool. For example, triangular chamfer is most convenient when we need just a bevel without adding smoothing and additional edges. In this mode, adding edges can cause problems in some areas of the mesh, which can be fixed by enabling smoothing. In such cases, a square chamfer is needed, which works more predictably, but requires attention to smoothing groups, noticeable only at the shading stage. Uniform is set by default, works like the quad, but also allows creating a negative radius. There is also a cut function. Next is the bridge tool, which creates a polygon connecting edges. It has settings for segment count, smoothing, merging edges by angle, and edge selection method. For now, only segment selection is useful to us, and we will get to know the other functions during modeling. The Connect tool creates additional edges between selected ones. It has settings for the number of created edges and offset. The Create Shape tool creates a spline that follows the geometry of the edges. It has settings for spline name and point type. Next are the mass and stiffness settings for edges, similar to vertex settings, to be considered at the modifier stage, which we will definitely cover later. The Triangulation Adjustment tool enables manual editing mode with the left button and allows simplified flipping with a right click. Why is this needed? Mostly it isn't, because a correct mesh excludes the appearance of overlapping polygons or artifacts. But if it happens, this tool helps fix errors so they don't interfere. Though it's better to restore the mesh, which takes longer but yields better results. Let's restore the mesh with the Cut tool, found in the Edit Geometry tab, which we will study in the next video. We restore edges and move the vertex with snapping. Next is the Border Sub-object. The Extrude tool opens the menu, resets settings, and sets new ones. Additional borders are created and edges move until constrained by others, appearing doubled if creation is confirmed. The next tool adds vertices to the border, but not to the edges. Chamfer follows, but it doesn't work in the 2024 version, and developers might add it later. It should work like edge chamfer on a plane. Next is Cap, which simply closes the mesh hole with a polygon. It's important to control the mesh correctness to avoid issues. For the next tool, we need to copy and flip the element to get another hole. You can select both borders and press Bridge to create a connection, or open the menu and control Segment Count, Bend, Offset, and even twist the connection. Next is Connect, but since we don't have a polygon connecting these edges, it doesn't work. Next is Create Shape. Just select the border, choose vertex type, and create a spline. Border parameter settings and triangulation are similar to other sub-objects. Let's move on to polygons. A polygon is a surface consisting of at least 3 closed edges and vertices, so we can erase one vertex with backspace, but not another. It can only be deleted, leaving 2 isolated vertices not connected because it's a linked system, and deleting one sub-object entails deleting others. The first tool, Insert Vertex, activates and adds a vertex to the polygon with a left click, connected by edges to all polygon vertices. The Extrude tool has manual extrusion along the first button's vector, and a settings window that activates dynamic selection, allowing real-time changes. A feature of polygonal extrude is working with selected polygons together. The first mode works as a group, summing all adjacent polygon normals and extruding along this vector. A tip: if you click in the wrong place and lose the selection or select something wrong, Ctrl+Z works for most 3ds Max operations to revert the selection. If a non-adjacent group of polygons is selected, it will have its own extrusion vector. Further, polygon selection will make them one group. The second mode works along each polygon's normal, where adjacency matters. The third mode extrudes each polygon separately, regardless of selection. The next tool, Outline, reduces the outer edge of each adjacent polygon group, working well on symmetrical polygons. The Bevel tool combines Extrude and Outline, allowing extrusion and scaling of polygons. It has the same selection of modes for adjacent polygons. Next, Inset creates a new polygon inside the selected one, allowing for size reduction. It has offset and adjacent group selection settings. The Bridge tool works similarly to the border sub-object, but doesn't necessarily require a hole for connection, just polygons can be selected. It has the same segment count, bend, offset, and twist settings. The Flip tool changes the polygon's front face, often used when sealing the mesh. The polygon's back face is darker. The next tool allows extruding selected polygons with rotation around the selected edge. It works by selecting polygons, setting segment count, choosing the edge as the rotation center, and setting the rotation angle. The Extrude Along Spline tool requires a spline. Activate the Settings menu. Choose the spline and polygon. Set segment count, adjust expansion or contraction, and adjust the cone curve. Extrusion follows the spline direction. If the checkbox is enabled, extrusion follows the polygon normal. You can also set twisting and spline flipping. In spline extrusion, adjacent group settings are not available, so adjacent polygon normals always sum. Remaining triangulation settings are familiar. Here we can add vertices, flip polygons, and adjust triangulation. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Check out our upcoming lessons and join us on Patreon. Learn easily with Softschool.